All right. Well, that sound means that it's the MCU's bleeding edge. That means it's Wednesday evening, and we have a very interesting kind of new blood kind of panel here on the show to break down the Avengers, at least the first half of the Avengers. We have with us, of course, my trusted co-host, Cyberneticshark, veteran YouTuber. What's up, Cyber?
What's up?
We have for the first time from the Geek News Now Network and from MCU Mondays that I've been on quite a bit recently. We have Debi. What's going on, Debi?
Hey.
It's good to have you.
She's everywhere.
That's right. She's very popular these days. We have
Debi's everywhere.
For another week. After doing Thor, we've got Vincent Vanspock. What's going on, Vincent?
How's it going, everybody?
What's up, brother?
And then, of course, last but not least, we have William, who just grinded out a hardcore MCU Phase 4 and Phase 5 preview with me the other night. That was funny as hell. People, I can't wait for you. If you want to see a funny show,
oh my gosh,
seriously check that one out because it was off the chain at times. That show, we had a good time. It was good to see you again, William.
Good to be here, man. Thank you for having me back.
Holding it down. Tell us about the Geek Gauntlet real quick.
Real quick, Geek Gauntlet, fastest hour in podcasting. We bring out everything that goes down in the world of superheroes. Everything goes down in the world of geek. We talk about comics, anime, the Arrowverse. We talk about everything. There's no topic we don't touch. Have some of the best topics in the business. We're on Twitch. We're also on GNN's Facebook page, also on GNN's YouTube page, as well as mine on the Geek Gauntlet Facebook page as well. Definitely join us. Check us out every Saturday night, 11 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/William Morgan Media.
Yes, and I'm hoping to be on there again. I'm hoping to come on this Saturday to make up for last Saturday because
yes,
he was very kind enough to invite me on. But I wasn't feeling all that hot. But hopefully my energy will be right so I can jump on there and have a good time with you guys on Saturday, you and Shaw.
Cool. And I want to extend the invitation to everybody here. If you guys want to jump on, let us know. We're happy to have you guys on.
It's a good show. I like what those guys do. I've definitely caught a couple of their shows before myself, and I really enjoy their content.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and jump into a trailer really quick here for the Avengers. We'll get that out of the way, and then we'll go ahead and kind of start off the review, I guess.
Okay.
You were made to be ruled. In the end, it'll be every man for himself. What do we do?
We get ready. There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people. So when we needed them, they could fight the battles that we never could. Gentlemen, what are you prepared to do?
No offense, but I don't play well with others.
Big man in a suit of armor. Take that away. What are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. If we can't protect the Earth, you can be damn sure we'll avenge it. Dr. Banner, your work is unparalleled, and I'm a huge fan of the way you lose control and turn into an enormous green rage monster.
Thanks. Oh, man. I miss the old Hulk. Like, I'm hoping that this end credit scene with Shang-Chi means that we're going to get, like, the regular Hulk now. You know what I mean? Instead of Professor Hulk. You know, I'm sure I'm not the only one here that's in agreement on that one. Like, you know, I mean, I miss the big Hulk that actually like smashes things and stuff like that. But to start things off with that trailer, I actually wanted to ask you guys, and I'll start off with you, Debbie. Do you think that Captain America looked authentic shooting that gun? Did he look good? Like in that scene where you see him shooting the machine gun?
Well, Steve Rogers always looks good no matter what he does. So.
I knew you were gonna go that way. I knew it.
Oh, man, that was a good one, Debbie. I set you right up.
Well, but William, tell me
I
too.
knew you was going that way, Debbie. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, he did it a lot in the first Avenger movie. So,
Good point. Yeah, I mean, it's just a quick thing. You know what I mean? I didn't want like any kind of detailed summary on it. But what do you think, Vincent? Did he look authentic in that scene where he shot the gun?
I think the biggest problem with Cap in this movie is the outfit. It was a little bit too bright and colorful. So this, bright and colorful outfitted character is supposed to represent America firing a machine gun. I mean, it really looked out of place. His later outfits with the darker tones and everything looks a lot better. And then, you get a gun in his hand in those times and it's really not that big of a deal. But for this one, it just seemed a little cartoony, especially with his specific outfit. Everybody else almost might make sense in the universe, but his outfit for some reason just stands out and it looks really bad. And then you put a gun in his hand and it's like he's supposed to be a cartoon, but he's got a gun in his hand. And I don't know.
I agree.
The only reason why I wanted to ask you guys this is because as I was watching that trailer right there and I saw him do that little scene real quick with the machine gun, I was like, that does look kind of weird a little bit to me. Like, what do you think, William?
Kind of look like Batman in Flashpoint. It just looked weird. It just looked weird and out of place. And I agree with you, Vincent. That costume was too doggone bright. That looked like kind of like the Batmobile in broad daylight when you saw it in Justice League Unlimited. It just don't look good.
Well, you got to remember who designed it or who had their input on it, and that was Phil, who was a huge Captain America fan. So, he had his input, and I think that was like his ideal. He was wanting Captain America really represent America. So I think
I understand that
something to do with it.
I understand that, but he looked like a kid's cartoon with that bright blue on.
Yeah,
but he looked good.
He looked good.
Go ahead and jump in there, Cyber, before you talk real quick on that scene in the trailer where he has the gun.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I heard dog. I mean, looking at him doing the gun thing, it was interesting because you're so used to seeing him with the shield, especially, kind of like after, in Captain America 1, the first Avenger. I mean, yes, of course, at the beginning of the film, he has guns. He's using guns a lot, and then he ends up getting the shield and ends up using that a lot. And so you're used to that image of Captain America using a shield. So, yeah, I can see going like a year or so, without seeing Captain America, coming back, and all of a sudden seeing him all of a sudden use a gun again. You're kind of like, that looks a little weird. Yes, I can understand that. But at the same time, it's like he was so used to using guns that, it was second nature to him. So I think it looked fine.
Okay. So my first question here, my first real question having to do with the initial first half of the Avengers film is one where you can feel free to think, long term with the whole film. We're going to be talking about Loki. Don't feel like you can't mention stuff that happens later on in the movie. It doesn't just have to be, the initial part of the film. But what did you guys think of Loki's evolution, or Tom Hiddleston's evolution as an actor and as playing Loki from Thor to then going into the Avengers? And the reason why I wanted to ask that is kind of because of the fact that we just reviewed Thor the other day. So, going to you, William, what did you think about that evolution kind of between the two films with Tom Hiddleston and Loki?
I think he did a good job because you saw, I love characters when they show a personal side to them. And Loki is a god. and you saw a personal side come about as you saw watch his evolution come to be. And I really did love that fact. You saw badass Loki, and then you saw more of a humanized Loki later on. And I love the way that they did that. And I'm looking forward to seeing him more in that role when Loki comes back for that second season.
I mean, he's great in this movie as a villain. I think that sometimes people forget that the way he started off.
He was a badass. He was a badass.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure everyone has their own personal opinion when it comes to ranking the different enemies or whatever, or like, you know, main villains of the MCU. But I put Loki right up there on top myself. You know, that's just me. But what do you think, Vincent?
So I was actually thinking about this particularly while watching this movie today, in that Loki actually kind of pegs me as a child in this. And in the Thor movie to a lesser extent, but really in this one, he just kind of seems whiny and complaining all the time, and just like, I need it to be my way or the highway. You guys need to kneel to me. Just wow, dude. Like, I look at some of the other villains like Thanos or Killmonger or Hela, and they are so complex and so brilliant and just fun and interesting to watch, and they have
confident too.
Confidence in them and thoughts and emotions and all that stuff. And it's really far more interesting to watch some of those villains than it is to watch Loki in this. Loki actually kind of he pegs me as a punk and a little kid.
Okay, that's fair. Cyber?
I think Hulk knocked it out of him though, man.
Oh yeah. Duty God.
I honestly think I didn't see much of an evolution from Thor to Avengers Loki, in my opinion. I think that the whole film of Thor showed you the evolution of where he would go to become what he is in Avengers. I honestly think by the end of Thor, you know, when he drops, you know, Thor drops him after he's broken the Bifrost, that's the Loki we get to see in Avengers. By the end of that film, that's that one. So I think his evolution occurred in Thor, and then we see what that outcome was in Avengers. I mean, Tom Hiddleston, he's an amazing actor. I think he's fantastic. I love him as Loki, and I think he did a fantastic job in this film. Definitely, he has his whiny moments throughout the film, most definitely. But I feel that that's a part of just, you know, trying to come to grasp with what he's learned about himself, that, you know, he's a frost giant, that he's all these things, and he's trying to make something of himself because he couldn't become the king of Asgard. So, you know, there's so much, there is complexity there, but they did it through him just being a very whiny. So, you know, all in all, it's a really great rendition of a character, and just watching his evolution, like William said, even in the Loki series, we've seen him in different aspects of his, you know, his thinking process, and seeing him eventually get to where he is in Loki. It's a really refreshing and great evolution of a character, and it'll be fun to see what ends up, you know, turning out of it in Loki season 2.
Okay, Debbie?
Well, William probably knows, but I'm a huge Loki Hiddleston fan.
Oh yeah,
I know.
Yeah, he's a gunny sack. But anyways, yeah, he's whiny, but that adds to his character development over all the films. So seeing him go from this little whiny, and I compare this to Anakin in the prequels.
Ooh, that's a good one.
You know, whiny.
That's a good one.
I mean, he's not a teenager, but you know, still he's whiny. He thinks everything is owed to him. But throughout the movies, you know, you get that great character arc. And
Right.
you know, Hiddleston is just a fantastic. I couldn't imagine anybody else playing Loki. And I mean, he looked like shit when he first appears, when he comes through the portal. I mean, he's super pale, he's got dark eyes, and then throughout the movie, I don't know what caused that, if that was because he was in another dimension or universe or whatever. But when he comes through that portal and he's kneeling down and he just slowly raises his face up, I mean, talk about a pure evil look. I mean, that was just fantastic. That still gives me chills, even though I've seen that movie about 20,000 times. But yeah, great character arc throughout the whole series.
If he wasn't so,
Go ahead.
if he wasn't so much for himself, he would be a good anti-hero, but he's too much for himself to be that. He's too driven in his own goals to be an anti-hero. He's always going to be evil. But he would be a pretty good anti-hero.
I think in the Loki series, he's kind of reached into that anti-hero aspect of himself as opposed to just being a villain pretty much the whole time.
I thought you saw that the last episode.
Yeah, especially in the last episode.
Yeah. I thought you saw a little bit more.
Yeah, because he was the one who was actually intelligent enough to or smart enough to realize it was not a good idea to go ahead and kill Kang.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and you know, not that I want to get into, you know, I don't want to get too off topic, but I think that Sylvie was excellent in Loki. I think that she's got a bright future in the MCU. I really do. You know, we'll see what happens, of course. You know what I mean? Well, you know, we'll have to see how it pans out. But
most definitely.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just saying, most definitely. I agree with you.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So yeah, I mean, as far as like Loki goes, I think that he's had such a like he's had such an impact across the MCU that it's hard to not bring up some of the other stuff that he's done and whatnot. But he's great as a villain. Like Debbie said, he's menacing looking when he comes out of that portal. Like really, like he looks like, you know, he looks more crazy and like evil than Woody Harrelson looked as Carnage in Venom 2. You know?
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate for Venom 2. But so basically, what did you guys think to try to go back in time, if you can remember? What were your thoughts when you initially saw these trailers for the Avengers back in the day before we actually got the film?
My original thing is, why the hell did they pick Hawkeye? I've never been a Hawkeye fan. Never, ever been a Hawkeye fan. Never, ever. He's different than Green Arrow. Green Arrow is a little bit of a different character. I've never liked Hawkeye. Now, when it comes to Ronin, I'm on all day bring Ronin into play. But Hawkeye, particularly when they had him, everybody was suiting up and stuff. They put on Thor's got the hammer. Cap goes get his stuff. You got Iron Man with his suit. Fool come out with his bow. Bruh. Bruh. Really? We supposed to think that you're an intimidating figure because you have a bow? Get the heck out of here, man. That's the thing that made me angry. Why Hawkeye? I know why you had to do it if you were going to do it right. But at the same point, I would have taken anybody else over Hawkeye. Anybody else.
Well, he's been a good sport. Jeremy Renner has when he's going on Saturday Night Live and everything, and they've made fun of him. And like,
you know he sucked. You know Hawkeye sucked. He knows it. But if it's Ronin, I'm on top of all day. Ronin is the man. Ronin is the man.
I'm trying to get as many years out of my Ronin Halloween costume as possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm going on Halloween 3 going on this year with my Ronin costume, and I don't care. I'm going to keep using it.
But that was my only complaint. That's always been my only complaint really about the Avengers is I get it because he is one of the original in the comics, and you have to have his relationship with Black Widow. I understand all that. I get it, but if it was just anybody else, come on.
That's funny.
You, Steve from Bumble. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Cyber, what do you think, man? Cyber, same question to you, man. Same question to you. What were your thoughts on the trailers when you first saw them back in the day?
I only remember seeing one trailer in theaters, and that was the one that they showed after they had shown Captain America 1. And I had never seen this trailer that you just showed, so it was weird hearing all that music during it.
Wow.
So that was like just strange to me. But anyways,
wow.
I mean, from that the first trailer I saw was kind of like, it was like that preview basically of what it was, and I was like all excited to see it. I mean, because if you think about it, that first trailer really focuses, on Cap, Thor, Iron Man, and Black Widow, or Bruce Banner, I should say. You really don't see that Hawkeye's in it. You don't see, Loki really, or any of the other figures that we see in the film. Even, Fury, you barely see in that little trailer. So, I mean, I was still ecstatic, super ecstatic to see the characters they did show, and like, I can't wait to see this next year. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be enjoyable. And watching this new one, watching this one I'd never seen before, it made me even more excited for this movie again, even after just watching yesterday. So I have it in the background playing, so that's how excited it made me.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. Debbie, do you remember when you first saw the Avengers trailers?
Man, y'all know what she gonna say. Y'all know what she gonna say.
William, now I'm gonna disappoint you. Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I didn't watch Marvel movies.
What?
Mm-mm.
What?
No,
Really?
It wasn't until maybe 4 or 5 years ago, my oldest son, who is a huge Marvel fan, and he just kept begging me, "Mom, you're gonna love him. You got to go see him." So I didn't even see him originally in theaters.
Wow.
So watching this trailer, that's probably the first time I've ever seen it, and the music really threw me off. I was like, "What the hell's that?" But I'm so embarrassed. But yeah, I didn't watch. I watched the original Tobey Maguire movies, and I remember watching The Incredible Hulk, and I hated it because I didn't like what's his face as Hulk, but Ed Norton. Yeah, and I remember watching those, but when Iron Man and all those came out, I wasn't watching them. So
wow.
Don't hate me.
That that's why it's good to have. It's nice to have different opinions on this stuff, because this is why I wanted to ask about the trailer, because you never know what you're going to hear from people about this stuff. So There's nothing wrong with that, Debbie. I mean, at the end of the day, like we've talked about multiple times here, Cyber and I, on the MCU's Bleeding Edge. It doesn't matter if you have a comic book background or like something like that or whatever. If you're an MCU fan, you're an MCU fan. We're all equal. We're all, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's better than anybody else or anything like that. If you're an MCU fan, you're an MCU fan. That's it. As far as I'm concerned, that's the fraternity itself. That's the fandom. But Vincent, how about you, man?
So I was semi into movies around this time. I think, I'd seen the Spider-Man movies, the Sam Raimi ones. I'd seen the X-Men movies, and I was excited about those. And then Tony Stark, the Iron Man movie, first one came out. And at the end of it, Director Fury comes out and he's talking about the Avengers initiative. And that right there sparked something in me that got me excited about the future of movies.
Yeah, boy.
Because I don't think in movie history, anything like this has really ever been done, where they bring people from multiple movies into the same one together as a team, playing the same character as they were before. You've had things like Freddy versus Jason, which was like, oh, okay, we have two different franchises, but nothing like, the 4, 5, 6 different characters coming from 4 different movies, bringing them into one. And so when the trailers for this dropped, I had never been more excited for anything in my life. I grew up with watching Spider-Man, the cartoons, the Batman cartoons, X-Men cartoons. And in those, every now and then you'd get, a Captain America cameo or a Hulk cameo, or maybe the entire Avengers, or the X-Men would cross over entirely into Spider-Man or something like that. And now all of a sudden we were going to get to see this in live action on the big screen.
Yep.
My mind just started racing, and I couldn't imagine a better scenario than what came out with this movie.
Well, I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched any of the trailer reaction videos of people watching these trailers on YouTube. People were going crazy when these trailers came out, like over this Avengers film. I know I was. I mean, I was losing it.
And can I say one more thing?
What?
It was my first introduction to the woman that I love more than any other woman in the world, Scarlett Johansson. My very first time ever seeing Scarlett Johansson. I never seen her before in my life until that trailer hit. And when that trailer hit, that was it for me. That was it.
You were like, that's definitely Black Widow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You can have your ScarJo. I want Colby Smulders, who plays Maria Hill.
Bro,
Those
I ain't mad at
eyes
you.
pierce
I ain't
my
mad,
soul.
bro. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
Yeah, I like Colby Smulders, and that actually leads me right into my next question, which were, what's everybody's initial thoughts on the opening scene with S.H.I.E.L.D. where Loki does come through the portal, and then we see S.H.I.E.L.D. united for the first time, like as an entire team, kind of. What were all of your initial thoughts on the S.H.I.E.L.D. impact of things of this film? Going to you, Cyber.
Impacts of Shield. I mean, it was nice seeing this for the first time, getting to see Shield in its full fold. We get to see them, working together. You get to see the helicarrier. You get to see kind of like how they do things. Coulson, of course, is always fun and a joy to see. We got to originally first see him in Thor, of course. So having him come back was really fun. And I mean, it was just interesting to see like what Nick Fury was dealing with as being a part of Shield, and kind of like that how he went into that one room there and he's talking to all these different people around that big screen thing, and they're kind of like telling him what to do, but yet he's not really doing what they're saying. He's giving them basically words saying okay, yeah, sure, and doing something completely different. So I mean, it is a nice dynamic to actually get that whole Shield thing into effect. Really before they really delve even more into it in the Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Because we really got a lot of of that.
Really, I love him there. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of Shield and Hydra in that one even more. And so I thought that this was a nice kind of like introduction to that, giving us this take on who Shield is and kind of let us know, oh, we're gonna explore this a little bit more later down the road.
Okay. Debbie?
I thought it was interesting, but and I always thought this throughout the series, but especially this movie, you can tell that S.H.I.E.L.D. is really not a cohesive company or whatever you want to call them, organization, because any chance he gets, Fury is telling him, screw you, I'm going to do it my way. And you can always tell that the council or board, there's just that underlying sneakiness, snarky, like something else is going on, which, later on we do find out that, some of them are, well, the president, Robert Redford, is, Hydra. So they were never really too cohesive as an organization because there was so many underlying things going on. But it was great to see. I mean, I like S.H.I.E.L.D. I love the show, the TV series. So I loved seeing Phil Coulson, and I just think he's just adorable. So
Everybody does. Everybody does. William, what about you, man? Those are your initial thoughts on how the movie kind of starts off with S.H.I.E.L.D. and then what we get with S.H.I.E.L.D. right off the bat with Nick Fury.
S.H.I.E.L.D. has had such a big following in the comics, and it was sort of kind of nice to see them portrayed in the movies. We saw it in first Captain America, and we also see it here. You also see that real life made to order on the big screen right there, and I loved it. It definitely showed that while Debbie is right, most of the time they are an incohesive unit, but you saw they existed and they got some work done. They got some things done. You saw Nick Fury be brought to life. You saw Maria Hill be brought to life. And I think it's just great because they had such a big comic book following. That's what to make sure that when they got to the big screen, they were done right. And they were. So you gotta give props out to Marvel for that. Agents of Shield is rock. Look, Shield rocks. I just can't wait to see Sword. You need to stop messing around and give me Sword.
Vincent.
Yeah, so I like the presence of S.H.I.E.L.D. in this one because it really starts to finally give us something that we've been teased with ever since probably the first Iron Man, really, where every now and then somebody would pop in and say that they're from S.H.I.E.L.D. and then they'd give you, the long name or whatever. And so you're finding out a little bit more about this kind of weird, secret, government-owned organization. And then all of a sudden, right in the very beginning of this one, you find out just the scope of how many people there are, how much money they have, what they can do. And it's kind of intimidating because the government in this world has so much power and they're keeping it from everybody. It's not like S.H.I.E.L.D. was an open organization like the FBI or the CIA or something like that. They are just S.H.I.E.L.D. They're hidden from the world, but they have these massive facilities, tons and tons of military presence, and these huge helicarriers and what do you call the wing jets? I think they're called
Quinjets.
Quinjets. Thank you. And they are in just probably an insane amount of money. That helicarrier probably $1 billion at least. And so
a billion each.
And what are you kidding me? How about 50 billion probably?
Yeah, probably around there. And then Loki comes along and he destroys an entire facility of theirs, almost kills 3 of our main characters right up front with Maria Hill and Fury, and he takes over the minds of Dr. Selvig. He takes over the mind of Hawkeye, and he establishes that he's actually a threat right there at the beginning because of how big the S.H.I.E.L.D. facilities and the numbers of people and whatnot that they have is. I think it's a great opening.
Another reason Hawkeye sucks. He got mind control. Another reason why he sucks.
That's what I wanted to ask you. That's the next thing I wanted to ask you was, William, since you're talking already, I'll go ahead and go to you. What did you think of Hawkeye and Selvig like going under Loki's trance? What stone is that? That's in the
Mind Stone.
That's a Mind Stone. Mm-hmm.
Mind Stone. So, what did you think about that when they went ahead and did that whole deal with the scepter and putting them under control?
It made him look even weaker than what he already was. I mean, he didn't try to fight it. He just got mind zapped. He didn't try to fight it. He didn't try to do anything. It just happened. And when it happened, that was it. And it wasn't weak, just really weak. And again, I'm going to ask the question, why Hawkeye?
Hey, I love Hawkeye, man. Hawkeye's my guy. So I'm going to stand up.
You can have it. You can have it.
I'm going to stand up for Hawkeye every day. Vincent, are you still there?
He's having an issue with his camera. I think he's still there, though.
Anyways, Cyber, what about you, man? Same question.
Is he drinking chocolate milk?
No, eggnog.
Okay. Eggnog is good. I love it.
It's good. What was the question again?
About when Loki comes out and he uses the scepter to go ahead and like take mind control of Hawkeye and Selvig and everything and whatnot. What'd you think of that happening to Hawkeye like that right off the bat in the movie?
Weak.
I mean, yeah, I would have to agree with William there. That was kind of sucky to begin with. Right off the bat, that happening. We only had a little bit of imagery of Hawkeye in Thor. We saw him up in his peep, for a moment, and we saw a little bit of banter in here and there. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden we get him again. He's supposed to be kind of like a main forefront character, and all of a sudden he's taken over right by Loki right away, and you're just like, what? Like what? Like why is Jeremy Renner's character getting beat up so bad? You know what I mean? And so like it's too bad that he, majority of the film he's under that spell, and then finally he gets knocked out of it by Natasha, halfway through the film, and you're happy to see that happens. And I think that's what makes the line in Age of Ultron, his best line ever when he's like, "Oh, done the mind control thing, not again." That's just really fantastic line. And but I mean, yeah, both of them being taken over right away, I I kind of was like, that kind of sucks because we're not going to really see them much except for, you know, a little bit under mind control. So I thought it was a, you know, an interesting aspect to try for the film, but at the same time, I didn't care too much for it.
Well, changing gears, and taking into consideration that we're just talking about the first half of the Avengers. So when we talk about the Hulk, we're just talking about Bruce Banner before he hulks out and everything, right before that. So, you know, going to you, Debbie, what were your first impressions on the new Bruce Banner in the MCU in Ruffalo becoming the Hulk when you first saw him? Like, what were your thoughts?
I like Mark Ruffalo. I didn't have any I like him better than Ed Norton because I just could not stand Ed Norton as the Hulk. Sorry, William. I didn't so much like the Smart Hulk or whatever the hell they did with him at the
Professor
end.
Hulk.
Yeah,
Professor Hulk.
I wasn't a big fan of that, but otherwise, yeah, I liked him definitely better than Ed Norton.
Of course, most definitely.
My oldest son would probably smack me for that.
Edward Norton was okay for me. I thought he was all right as the Hulk. I'll be honest with you.
I've always said for what you gave him back then, Ed Norton was good for what you gave him, for what that movie, for what you had for that movie. The special effects back then weren't what they are today. The writing back then is not what it is today. So for what you gave him, I thought he did. I thought he did an okay job.
Yeah, that's true. Vincent, what'd you think, man?
I love Ed Norton. Well, I love Ed Norton as a Hulk too, but I also love Mark Ruffalo even more. Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, like, he really brings something else to the table. Upon the first viewing of this, I was a little skeptical because, you know, I liked Ed Norton so much. I thought he was amazing in a lot of movies, and I think he would have been great as Bruce Banner going forward. But, you know, as usual, these people have an ego, and so they cause themselves to lose out on roles and whatnot, as he did. And then they gave it to Mark Ruffalo, which I had only ever seen him in like 2 movies before that, and they were both like chick flick love interest type movies. And so I was like, I don't really understand it, but maybe he'll be good. I don't know. I'll give him a chance. And then they get to the line where he says, "That's my secret cap. I'm always angry." And if you go back and rewatch the movie with that in mind, you really get to see him put that through his performance. And that was the moment for me where I went, you know what? You're amazing. I want you as the Hulk from now on.
Cyber.
I enjoyed him as the Hulk. I don't see anybody else playing the Hulk, even after he took over the mantle from Ed Norton. Just like everyone else says, I've enjoyed Ed Norton. I think he's a great actor. I think he did a decent job with what he had, like William was saying, with the first Incredible Hulk film. And for the time, for 2008, that was the best CGI and best story writing they had. And because at that time, too, don't forget, that was when Paramount and Universal was still a huge part of the whole franchise and not giving it to Marvel yet. Once Marvel got it, we can see that whole new evolution of the Hulk, and that's what we got with Ruffalo. And there's something about Ruffalo that is just very endearing about him as when he's himself, when he's the Bruce Banner character. And so I think that's another reason why so many people love Ruffalo as Bruce, because you do get that complexity between the Hulk when he's the big green monster and from Bruce Banner. And Ruffalo did a good job of bringing that to life and giving us a little bit of a different iteration than, say, like Bill Bixby or Ed Norton's version in his Hulk film. So I really enjoyed Ruffalo as Hulk, and I can't wait to see him do more.
Can I add something?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Debbie.
You mentioned Bill Bixby. I grew up on that Hulk.
Me too.
So, yeah. And Mark, for me, he really reminds me of Bill Bixby's Bruce Banner. And I think that's probably why I like him a lot more than Ed Norton.
God, Debbie, I wish you would have kept the Hulk's original music then.
I did like that they put that in the Incredible Hulk because they had that they had that music in there.
Yeah,
it's just real short, but you caught it.
Well, to kind of kind of change the question up a little bit. Taking into consideration the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk, just based off the Avengers film, did you like what Ruffalo did with Bruce Banner? Did you feel like it worked?
Yeah, I think it worked. He's an excellent actor. 9 times out of 10, Marvel's not going to let you down when it comes to casting. 9 times out of 10, they know what they're doing, and I liked him. I like Ruffalo in that role. I think he's better than Norton, but for that time period, I thought Norton was okay. Given what he was working with, but Ruffalo is the better of the two. Most definitely, he's better of the two. And the only thing with Norton that gets me, he's like Ray Fisher before Ray Fisher. I mean. Bruh, you quit. Your ego killed it. He could have been the Hulk right now, and his ego killed it. Just like Ray Fisher could have been Cyborg. What you do? You excommunicated him. Go figure.
So William already touched on Black Widow. What were y'all's thoughts on the initial scenes with Black Widow where we see her being interrogated and then she goes to go ahead and recruit Bruce Banner and everything? Debi, what were your general thoughts upon, like, those scenes with Black Widow and with Scarlett Johansson? Did you enjoy them? Were they effective for you?
I loved her scene with the interrogation scene. I thought it was hilarious because she's playing these guys the whole time. Because she has the way of getting information without acting like she's getting information. Yeah, I thought she was great. I love Scarlett Johansson.
Yes. Yes.
Cyber?
Me too.
That introduction, her being interrogated was kind of an interesting way to first approach her in the film, to bring her into the film, versus how they introduced her in Iron Man 2. I thought it was interesting that they brought her in and she's actually on assignment. I thought that was a cool aspect of the film. I really enjoyed that. And I like that, you're at first you're not sure, but then all of a sudden when she gets the phone call from Coulson, then you all figure it out and you're like, oh, okay, she is on assignment. She's duping these guys and they don't realize it. And just like her expressions in that whole scene were really fun, and just that classic Black Widow mentality and that knowledge she was taught how to get information from people. And I thought it was a really good homage to the Black Widow comic books, and just, showing a really interesting aspect of what Black Widow is capable of doing.
Okay. William?
I also kind of like the fact you showed in that movie. There was one scene when Cap threw her up to catch a ride with the doggone it, can't remember right now.
Sorry.
But when she caught the ride with Chitauri, you sort of kind of saw that she has some of that super soldier serum. I'm not gonna call it that per se, but normally when she caught that ride, it would have ripped a normal human's arm off, but it did nothing to her. So you sort of kind of saw a small snippet of what she can do. You don't get to see everything she does entirely like she does in the comic books. Oh my gosh, she's amazing in the comic books. But yeah, you do see a little bit of what she can do there, how strong she can truly be. And I liked her in that role. It's just a shame she ain't gonna do it no more. It's just a shame, man. It's just a shame. Money is the root of all evil.
All right, check this out. I'm going to go ahead and drop the other Avengers trailer real quick just to give everybody a breather and whatnot. So here we go.
You were made to be ruled. In the end,
It'll be every man for himself.
What do we do?
We get ready. There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people. So when we needed them, they could fight the battles that we never could. Gentlemen, what are you prepared to do?
No offense, but I don't play well with others. Big man in a suit of armor. Take that away. What are you? Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. If we can't protect the Earth, you can be damn sure we'll avenge it.
Dr. Banner, your work is unparalleled, and I'm a huge fan of the way you lose control and turn into an enormous green rage monster.
Thanks.
That was a different trailer, wasn't it?
No,
yeah,
the
there were
first-
some very.
100%.
It was
Oh,
very
that-
similar,
that-
but there was some minor differences in there.
So it was different.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah, different music altogether too.
yeah.
Huh. All right. Yeah, I saw a lot of common scenes. I'm like, for a minute there, I thought for a second it was the same trailer, but so basically when we already talked about the helicarrier, the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, and that initial aspect of Bruce Banner and Captain America kind of coming together with Black Widow. What I wanted to ask you guys was, and I'll start with you, William, what did you think of the initial synergy between the characters as they started to formulate the Avengers? You know what I mean? Like in the first couple of instances in the film that you see them starting to kind of mingle with each other on like the helipad, and then when Thor and Iron Man skirmish and like throw down, you know what I mean? And Cap jumps in and kind of like, you know, splits them up and whatnot. And then, you know, even going on beyond that, back on the helicarrier, what did you think of the initial chemistry between the team before the final battle?
I thought it was going to be a work in progress because everybody was so different on that team. You look at Thor, God. You look at Iron Man. Everything that he is. You look at Cap. Everything that he is. Everybody is so different. I thought it was going to be a work in progress to make that thing gel together. But they did it. But I kind of figured it would be a work in progress, so to speak, because they were so different as characters and so different as people. Similar to Justice League or any great team, it takes a minute for things to gel and for everybody to get on the same page. But once you get there, it's a beautiful thing. So you kind of figured that it was going to work out. I didn't think it would work out to the effect of the movies we got, because this thing has been going on for a long time. But yeah, it worked out to be a beautiful thing.
Vincent, same question to you. And then on top of that, do you feel like they pulled it off? Like the actors and actresses like pulled off that initial chemistry when they did like come together for the first couple times?
Yeah, I think initially, like their initial coming together was fun to watch, at least, like with Cap introducing himself to Bruce Banner, and then them having that moment on the top of the deck of the helicarrier where they're like, "You're going to put me in a cylindrical tube underwater, pressurized? That's not a good idea." And then they realize that the helicarrier is about to fly. You know, I love that moment between the two of them. I also love when Loki is making the crowd kneel and Cap shows up and they get in a fight, and then Iron Man comes in and like the two of them stand off like with Loki. You know, that's a great moment between them. And so there's some little moments sprinkled in where you get to see that they can be a cohesive group. And then of course you have that big kind of clash after Black Widow realizes that Loki's trying to manipulate Hulk's mind. And so that one kind of brought you back to reality where, oh, right, yeah, these people don't know each other. They haven't spent time with each other. They're not exactly friends yet. So,
yeah. Cyber?
The dynamics, it like William said, it was a work in progress, most definitely, because all of these people are used to their own battles. They're used to being on their own. They're used to the people they're around already that they've worked with. So bringing them together, all these giant egos, trying to work them together makes a huge, difference. It's like basically almost getting, making an atomic bomb go off. So, I mean, the fact that they were able to get them to work at all, that, versus like when, Nick Fury decides, oh, I'm going to, with Coulson's death, let's show the playing cards with blood on them that he had him in his pocket to get them to unite finally and to work together. And so that's kind of, how everything kind of encompasses itself through the movie. The very beginning of the film, they're all very much at odds, but as the movie grows together, they actually encompass each other and become united.
Debi?
Totally agree with everybody. I mean, even though they do come together somewhat, I mean, you still have some of the pairs that still butt heads, and especially Iron Man and, well, the ones with egos, let's say, Thor and Iron Man. Iron Man and everybody, I guess, but because he tends to rub people the wrong way. But, it just, I was amazed at how Marvel not made them, but it was able to have them come together in such a short time, because like William, I thought maybe it would take more than just one movie to have them come together.
Right.
I mean, it does take them a while to find their groove and really come together as a group, but to have them come together as quickly as they did, that was some pretty good shit. So.
You showed that despite the egos, when you had to do it, you had to do it, and that's what they did. They got together and they did that thing. And like I say, did anybody here expect that franchise to run as long as it did, or as long as it has? I should say.
No,
I didn't think it. I didn't think that.
It never would have occurred to me that it was going to end. When we watched the first Avengers film, when I saw it, I was literally in awe of what I was watching. Like, literally, I can remember what it was like to watch this movie the first time, and me just being like, "Are you kidding me? Like, seriously? Like, they're actually doing this? Like, this is actually the Avengers on screen? Like Vincent said, live action. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be kidding me. This isn't even like this. It was surreal to me when I watched it at first. Like, I swear, I can remember it. I watched it with my daughter when she was little, and my dad and my mom, and we all watched it with the surround sound and everything and whatnot in front of the big screen, like the old style big screen. You know what I mean? Like, not a flat screen, but the big screen. And like, I mean, I was pumped. I was like jacked, especially. I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead, but especially during the final battle scenes. That final battle is like, what did we figure out it was, Cyber? Like 40 minutes almost. That final battle?
Yeah, it was like 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Like, you want to talk about something that was like a game changer for film? Well, like, of course, the whole concept of the movie was a game changer. Like, no one had ever done anything like the Avengers. But beyond that, when did you ever see a 45-minute action scene before until the Avengers?
It was a precursor for so much.
Mm-hmm. It really was. Much.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's important to bring this up, and anybody can jump in on this if you want to. Just go ahead. Anything to say, that's fine, but jump in if you want to. I feel like this movie almost needs to be separated and put in its own class. Like, you can't mix it up with the rest of the Avengers films and try to like compare them or contrast them, because I feel like this movie was the introduction. It was something that was being done for the first time, and you had no way of knowing how really at the end of the day if it would work or not work or whatever. It was a chance that they took. Marvel Studios didn't have the golden touch back then. Like they were new to the game.
Facts.
So, like, it was make or break for them. If that movie failed, they were done. Like, that was it. That would have been the end of the MCU right there. That would have been it. They would not have made more movies if that movie had failed. I can tell you that right now. So does anybody have anything to opine on that? Just the originality of this film and how it stands out. It should stand out.
I agree.
I think that Joss Whedon did an amazing job with this, given the reins of such a gamble. These people were like, yeah, let's make this epic blockbuster where we tie 4 movies in to each other, and then maybe we'll continue it after there. They threw in that little Easter egg at the end with Thanos showing up. And at that point for me, when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, Thanos will probably be the next bad guy then, right? No, we don't get Thanos for another 2 more Avengers movies. And then that one, he wins the damn thing. And so you're like, oh, okay, we have to have one more. And you're like, how long is the show going to go on for? And then you're like, okay, well, that Avengers where we bring everybody together, that's got to be the one where they end it, right? And then maybe they'll start over with a new cast or anything. They're continuing it still.
Yep. And I want to say too, to back up Vincent on this point, it did something that a lot of movies don't do. The bad guy won. You don't see that a lot in a superhero movie or superhero movies. The bad guy won. The bad guy got over. It wasn't long, but he got over.
Avengers Infinity War to me is the same as Empire Strikes Back.
Yep. I agree. Wholehearted.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Well, I'll just say this. Whoever did the casting for Marvel,
Sarah Finn.
I mean, she needs to be paid $1 billion because all it takes is one person to not be casted in the right role to totally throw off the chemistry that they had in that movie. It just takes one person to throw that all off, and that movie does not work. So kudos
Brie Larson.
to her.
Boy, don't even get me started on Brie Larson. Boy, don't even get me started on Brie. Ooh, that's a whole different show. We can take this another 2 hours. Don't get me started on Brie. Don't get me started on Brie.
Should have just thrown Brie in the first Avengers film. I mean, she's
no. You do not give her that. No. Brie don't deserve all that.
Everybody else.
She
was all right. I mean, she's not my favorite. I can take her or leave her, but
there was a reason why she got that limited part she did in the last Avengers movie, because don't nobody like her. Don't nobody like her.
Cyber, you got anything to add to this?
Nothing about Brie Larson. We don't want to go another 6 hours.
No.
But you just overall, I mean, encompassing the Avengers, as a whole, like we've talked about, throughout the night so far, if this film did fail, that probably would have been the end of the MCU, and then we wouldn't be talking about Brie Larson. We'd be talking about Black Panther. We'd be talking about all these other characters that we've gone through. The Avengers really was this tent pole for the MCU to continue. It really was, because it was the culmination of those first 4 films, like we've said, the first 2 Iron Mans, Thor, and Captain America 1, that really started this whole franchise. They're the ones that were those starting points for the MCU, which brought us to the Avengers, and then the Avengers is what finally gave us what we're seeing now, where we're at. We're coming up to the Eternals now. So I mean, like William and Vincent have said, this franchise has one of the first films where a villain does succeed. A villain does succeed against superheroes, against these mighty heroes who are supposed to always win, as they do in the comic books most of the time. You very rarely see them lose, and so having that happen really was another giant tentpole, into this franchise as well. So I think the Avengers is a very massive, huge, big connection in the MCU as a whole.
What about the culture? What about the impact on the film industry itself and the culture overall that the Avengers had, Vincent?
Well, it's obviously taking the entire direction of the film industry. with it. Because you have Flashpoint, for example, which is coming out this 2022 or 2023. That's basically doing the exact same thing that the Avengers are going to be doing from going forward, whether you blame Scarlet Witch or Kang the Conqueror or Lady Loki or whoever else. They're resetting the timeline. They're changing the timeline. They're making it so everything is canon while they're also resetting it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's obvious that Marvel's had a huge impact on the filmmaking industry. And then you also have the Dark Universe was trying to be made, where they did the Mummy and Dracula and Frankenstein, and they'd bring them all together at some point. And then they also have the Godzilla, King Kong, Kaiju verse, where they're trying to bring a whole bunch of different Kaiju things together. Those are all ideas that sparked directly from the Avengers.
Debi?
What was the question again?
What about the cultural impact and the impact on the film industry that the Avengers had? What are your thoughts on that whole perspective that the Avengers, really had a major influence and impact on cinema and on the film industry after it came out?
Well, I mean, something this big had never been done before, as far as I know. I mean, Vincent was talking about, the dark monster movies, and which didn't go anywhere. But this is such a huge thing that Marvel did, and yeah, it's affected a lot. I mean, it hasn't been seen before. I'm definitely surprised at how long, what was it, 11 years that it took to come to the climax of Endgame. And then even to continue on, because now they're bringing in new characters. You got your TV shows or Disney Plus shows that are going to bring in even more characters that'll probably lead, I assume, to more movies and maybe another ensemble cast.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see if Marvel can strike gold twice.
Good point.
And there's so many ways to jump on Debi, what she was saying, kind of back her up a little bit. There's so many different ways you could take this now, because what they did, they brought a difference in casting and storytelling. They took that casting and storytelling to another level. And now you could take that same formula and you can bring in the other Avengers. You can bring in the young Avengers. You can bring in the West Coast Avengers if you wanted to, and probably get by. Those would be some new characters you can bring to the game. There's so much that you can do with the Avengers as a franchise. It's just amazing that one movie spawned all this, and you can make a case that I'm not gonna sit here and say it spawned Disney Plus, but it spawned a lot of its success because of Marvel.
Cyber, on anything you have on this topic, and at the same time, Sarah Finn's casting overall, not just in Avengers, but in the Avengers, of course, but overall in the MCU. We've talked about this before. It's just excellent.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I feel that every casting choice she's made has been really wise, really well selected, and has been an asset to the MCU. There has not been so far, I feel, really any bad casting choice at all in any of the films. And I think that she has a really great wide range of knowing what to look for, and I think that's was one of MCU's smartest choices, to pick her to do that casting choices, because that right there is your one of your first successes. Is if your person that casts your characters in your franchise actually gets the casting correct, that's what's going to produce great films and what's going to keep you rolling for years down the road. And so she is a huge asset, and just like Debi had said earlier, she should be given, $1 million for how amazing she is. But as what everyone else was talking about, just like the Avengers being this huge, huge influence on a lot of things over the years. Yes, most definitely. I feel even it has influenced the DCU itself. I mean, Shazam itself, I feel, is probably the first DCEU film that I feel was uh, very similar to a MCU film. Like the concept of it, the look of it, the whole concept of it was very MCU like. So I feel DC is starting to catch on, and that that influence from the Avengers is what kind of is starting to push DC in the right direction. I mean, from what we've seen in future developments of films coming out for the DC, you can see that they're starting to see what Marvel that magic is and what's going to give them that boost they need to be as successful as the MCU has become. So yes, the Avengers really was a huge temple for a lot of things and and big incentive for a lot of different companies and films as well. Since this came out almost 10 years ago now.
Does anybody else have anything else to add to that conversation? No, we're good. Okay, well, you know what? We're gonna. All right, that's the end of part 1 review of the Avengers. We're gonna go ahead and jump into. I'm gonna play the new Batman trailer, and we're gonna react to the new Batman trailer, and I'm gonna get everybody's thoughts on our new Robert Pattinson Batman and whether or not it works or doesn't work. I guess we'll see. And then we've also got the Black Adam teaser trailer as well from the DC fandom.
Police! Hands up! Stay still! Get out of here!
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning.
I've been trying to reach you.
Burn the gun!
This is about a king, and Riddler's the match.
I can take care of myself.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
Whoa! Take it easy, sweetheart. Hear everything they say, ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance.
What's black and blue and dead all over? You. Take it.
I got you! I got you!
your secret friend.
Underneath the bridge,
Who?
Topper sprung a leak, and the animals I've trapped
Haven't a clue.
all become my pet.
Let's play a game. Just me and you. Any of this mean anything to you?
You're becoming quite a celebrity. Why is he writing to you?
If you are justice, please do not lie. What is the price for your blind eye?
The hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
Whoa! This guy's crazy!
You're part of this too. How am I part of it? You'll see.
I've never seen the likes of it before. Having done James Bond for 10 years, 4 films, nothing compares to this.
I play Hawkman.
Cyclone.
Atom Smasher.
Dr. Fate, leading the whole charge, is Dwayne Johnson.
He's more brutal, uncompromising, fueled by the depths of his pain. He's Black Adam.
Black Adam.
Hey, DC fandom, and hello to everyone watching around the world. I am so excited right now to be here and to talk to you about the man in black himself, Black Adam. Now, as you guys know, this character, this film, this universe has been a gigantic passion project of mine for a very long time. And I have worked so hard, worked these hands, these calluses, my fingers to the bone on this project because it's the kind of project that I know comes along once in a lifetime. And the truth is, I was born to play Black Adam. Now, we've just started the post-production process, which is so exciting. And the film has, without question, some of the biggest action sequences I have ever been a part of. And I am so proud and excited of our incredible team who are working away to create breathtaking, holy shit, scenes that I know you're really going to love. Now, even though we're still working away, this is DC fandom. So I felt like I had to bring you guys just a little something special. Now, you know me, guys, and you know, I always like to say that you, the audience, the people, you guys are my #1 boss. So I got together with my director, Jaume Collet-Serra, and we put together a little glimpse of one of the opening scenes of the movie when Black Adam is first revealed. Now, what you're gonna see here is why the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. I hope you enjoy this very first look at the man in black himself, Black Adam.
Yo, that shit is on fire, dog. Like, seriously, man. Oh my God. I'm telling you right now. Like, it didn't give me chills, but like, it wasn't enough to give me chills. But damn, that's a good ass teaser, man. I'll tell you right now, you want to compare teasers like that compared to the Eternals teaser that came out a couple months back? Jesus Christ. What a difference.
I'm a wrestling fan, and I've been a wrestling fan the majority of my life. And I did agree with The Rock when he did say he was born to play that role. I agree with him wholeheartedly. And Black Adam is such a complex character. I think that he can pull that off. I really think he can. And he said something interesting. I think he said it last week. From what I read, he said there's no way Superman can beat Black Adam. I said, oh, okay. Okay.
Well, I'll just open up the table
Let's
here.
go. Let's go. Let's make Tyler, where you at? Let's make this thing happen, dog. Let's make it happen.
What's everybody's thoughts on the Black Adam teaser? Is this the first time any of you guys saw it?
First time I saw it.
What'd you think, Cyber?
I mean, it looks interesting. I mean, it's very similar to me. It makes me think of Shazam. I'm sorry. I'm sure Black Adam is very different than Shazam. I'm not very familiar with him as a comic book or in the comics or all like that. From my understanding, he's a villain, correct? Or is he an anti-villain, something like that?
No, he's a villain.
He is a villain. Okay. So that right there interests me the most. That it's a villain character, and The Rock is playing a villain. That actually kind of makes it interesting to me that he's playing a villain character because we're so used to seeing him play heroes in majority of the films that he's in. So this will be interesting to see him play Black Adam and see just what this character is all about. I mean, just from that little imagery that they showed, I mean, the technology is there. I mean, it was very crisp looking. It looked very well done. It looked like it's going to have a lot of great CGI moments throughout that whole film. From my understanding, I remember when they were filming it a few months back, they were saying that they were using a technology that's similar to what James Cameron's using for the Avatars. So the Avatar film. So that same technology is going to be used in Black Adam. We're going to see something different than we have seen in a superhero film to date. So that is another aspect of what I'm looking for. So I'm still waiting. Hopefully we'll get a bigger trailer soon for that too, so that we see more. But from that, I mean, it's just a taste. So yeah, most definitely, that looks like it's going to be an interesting film. Just from the few things I've mentioned.
Vincent, Debbie, do you guys have anything to say about the Black Adam teaser?
I have been excited for Black Adam since the minute The Rock told everybody that he was given the choice between Shazam and Black Adam, and he went with Black Adam. I was like, that's perfect casting in my opinion. I think he's going to be absolutely phenomenal in the role. I just hope that the director does a really good job with him because he is such a complex character, and I want to see these big, sweeping, beautiful sets and everything. And from what I'm seeing from that tiny little teaser, it just looks too much like Shazam for me. And while I love Shazam and I love the fact that Black Adam is technically Shazam's biggest villain, it's also, I want to see something different. I'm not sure how they're going to go with this movie because other than Joker, we haven't really had a movie in the MCU or DCEU that's been named after a villain specifically, other than Joker. And I don't think this is going to be anything like Joker. I don't think they're going to try and make the character sympathetic at all. But are they going to make him sort of an anti-hero in this? Or are they going to go full villain, have him win at the end, kind of like Thanos or something? What are they going to do with this film? And I'm curious about that.
Debbie, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts on the Black Adam teaser?
I'm a Dwayne Johnson fan, so that had me hooked right there. I don't know anything about Black Adam, but I'm intrigued that he's the villain. So I didn't know that because, like I said, I don't know the character that well. So that really intrigues me. And I don't know who said it. He's always played kind of like the hero guy. So yep. I'm really interested to see how he takes on a villain role.
William?
Vincent brought up a good point because you can take Black Adam so many different ways. You can take him villain, you can take him anti-hero, you can take him so many different ways. And I don't know how you're gonna do this main movie. I thought you should have brought him in Shazam, this first Shazam movie, and let him go at it. But I understand that you wanted to establish him as a character, so I get that. But how you do it is going to be so important. And I think Dwayne Johnson is the right person. I just hope the writing doesn't kill him.
Well, either way, let's move on from that. Let's talk about Batman. Let's talk about Robert Pattinson. Let's close things out. This will be our last topic. And so I got to just mention right off the bat, the one thing that I took from those two Batman trailers myself is I love the relationship between Batman and the police and Jim Gordon. You know what I mean? Like, what other superhero do you know? What other vigilante do you know that has an actual direct relationship with the police department to where he can just show up at crime scenes and stuff like that, and he's just a part of the team?
Sometimes Spider-Man.
Supergirl too.
Yep. But I love the respect that he's given Batman. You know what I mean? Like, I love the interpersonal relationships in Gotham between all the different characters that to the point where you've got the Riddler addressing a letter on a dead body to a Batman. You know what I mean? Like, talking to the Batman directly. With Batman, he's the only character that has that kind of dynamic like he does with Gotham that I can think of. I can't think of anybody else who has that similar type of trope going on. It's different than Spider-Man, because Batman is a different kind of Bruce Wayne's a different kind of person than Peter Parker. Peter Parker would never double punch that dude on the ground like Batman did and double tap him when he's already like, hurt or whatever. That's Batman. But the new Batman trailer that we got, the first one, Vincent, what were your thoughts?
So the very first one that we got with that slow piano rock and roll music and everything, where you see him pulling out the tape, that one really caught my attention.
That was Nirvana. Nirvana, Under the Bridge.
And Nirvana's Under the Bridge, exactly. So that song right there immediately caught my attention. The slow, methodical pace about it, the kind of mystery behind everything, the like noir type of detective work in this, that really got my attention because we haven't seen Batman be the world's greatest detective yet. And I think that's what they're going to do with this film. To top that off, you also have a really good interpretation of the Riddler out there, where he's similar to the Zodiac Killer. Very cryptic, actually writing out riddles for once, for Pete's sake. The Riddler is my favorite villain.
Gary Riddler, where he looks like he's back or whatever.
He wasn't the Riddler.
He wasn't the
Riddler. Like, they gave him the name the Riddler, but he was the Joker.
He wasn't.
And same with Tommy Lee Jones. He was not Two-Face. He was the Joker. So when they actually get those characters right, like Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight is an actual interpretation of Harvey Dent, and he was awesome in that. So I'm happy to see the Riddler, my favorite Batman villain, finally showing up on screen.
Really the man now.
Okay, Debbie?
I'm so hyped for this movie.
That's good.
I don't even know if I have words, because I think, and I have been waiting for this for a long time, for a dark, gritty, violent Batman. And I think that's what we're going to get. I hope so. I hope DC doesn't screw this up. Because I've been disappointed so many other times. The Dark Knight trilogy is probably my favorite. But I think with this one, since it's year 2, Batman, I think we're going to get a very violent, graphic, down and dirty Batman. And I'm so excited.
Oh yeah. Would
you think it would be cool if they added a sex scene to the movie where like Batman and Zoe Kravitz got it on? Like, you think that would be fitting? Would you enjoy that?
No.
No?
man. No, man.
I'm assuming that you're talking to all of us with that one. No.
You don't need it.
Why did I get that question? Jesus Christ.
I wanted to put you on the spot.
Oh my goodness.
No, not until maybe the second or third movie. Then they can go about it.
You've got a date first. Okay, I get it. All right.
You got to court each other first. Yeah. They gotta court each other. They gotta court each other. They gotta court each other first.
Cyber, what's up, man? What do you think about the Batman trailer?
So when they first initially announced that Pattinson was going to be Batman, I was not keen on that at all. Because I honestly don't feel he's that great of an actor. It has nothing to do with the Twilights, nothing like that. I don't think he's that great of an actor. I think he's pretty basic. He's like, if you're seeing that ER thing going beep beep, his is just for me. For how his acting is. And
The Lighthouse.
I've seen him in several films. I've seen him in The Lighthouse. I've seen him in things. I don't think he's anything special. I just don't think he's anything great. That's just my opinion. That's just how I feel about him. So I wasn't too sure about him playing Batman because I'm so used to Christian Bale being Batman. I loved Ben Affleck as Batman, Michael Keaton, George Clooney, even Val Kilmer. I liked all those different iterations. I thought they were all fun. I thought they were all great in their own unique way. So, that kind of put me off at first. But then when I found out that Paul Dano and, the awesome Colin Farrell were going to be in it as, Penguin and Joker or Riddler, that made a huge difference and, made me very happy and want to see this film. Because that first trailer was kind of like, oh, this looks okay. But that second trailer was kind of like, okay, there's some more depth to this. There's some interesting things going on here that gives me more. And I'm not a huge Zoe Kravitz fan either. I don't think she's anything special either. So her being Catwoman doesn't really do anything for me either. So thankfully, because of Paul Dano and Colin Farrell, that's the reason why I want to see this movie. But Robert Pattinson in the trailers themselves, he has changed my mind a tiny bit on how he might do with this character. He might be okay. So I'm waiting to see what he all does in this film, but it's really Paul Dano and Colin Farrell is the reason why I'm seeing it.
William.
Can we get some bass to Robert Pattinson's voice, please? Can we put some bass in there? Can we hook it up to like a Rodecaster Pro and activate the big bottom feature and put some bass in his voice? He sounds like a little kid, man. I have vengeance. What? What?
Hold on a minute.
Sounds like a kid.
Hold on a minute, William. That I thought that shit was pretty hot.
I need some bass. This is Batman you dealing with. This ain't Batmite. This is Batman.
This is year 2. He's got to.
We need some bass. We need some bass.
That gravelly voice.
He needs that voice, man. It doesn't. It just ain't right, man. I'm Vincent. What? Really? I am Vincent.
A little bit like Michael Jackson there.
Exactly.
I'm Vincent.
Look, give me some vengeance to go along with this intimidating role that you're trying to. give me some bass to go with this intimidating role you're supposed to be playing. This is the Dark Knight. He's supposed to be intimidating and make bad guys cower in fear. And the minute he opens his mouth, all that goes away. Oh, you just a regular dude. I'm gonna whip you. That's all it seems to me. Patterson might be okay in the role. He might have to grow into it, but I just ain't feeling it. I love Batman himself, but the casting and Zoe Kravitz, she's beautiful, but she wouldn't have been my Catwoman. I'm just saying.
Hey, you're being honest. There's nothing wrong with that. Does anybody else have anything else to throw in as far as the Batman trailers or anything like that? Does anybody have any kind of last words or anything?
Can I say something about Black Adam real quick that I forgot to mention earlier? We need to grow up. This is 2021 going to 2022, and a lot of people had issues or reservations about who's playing Hawkman. Guys, stop it. Stop tripping. He's an excellent actor. He's gonna do fine by the role. Stop tripping. He's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. In the words of Aaron Rodgers, relax. It's gonna be fine.
I love Aldous Hodge. Like,
Yes, he's
really
a
good.
great actor. So he's
I was
gonna fit
on
the
the
role
set of
fine.
Leverage with him a couple of times. He's
Oh,
he's a
cool.
good actor. He's a real nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him as Hawkman.
Me too.
But I wanted to mention about the Batman that there's one shot in particular that's really got me going with this movie. And it's where he's walking down this really dark hallway and these guys are shooting guns at him, and the only light is coming from those muzzle flashes.
Yeah, from the
But you can still
AK-47.
see him
Yeah.
beating the hell out of people. And that right there reminds me of the hallway scene in Star Wars Rogue One, where, you know, all of a sudden that lightsaber ignites and he just walks down the hallway, slowly slashing and cutting people up, completely calm, completely collected, and all you can see is the red glow of his lightsaber. So I think they're kind of making Batman kind of a bit of a badass in this, even though it is played by somebody I wouldn't have traditionally considered to be a badass.
Oh, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. He'll be all right as long as he don't open his mouth.
There's
The
been a
minute he
lot-
opens his mouth, that's it.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
people out there, William, who are complaining and saying that they don't like the fact that you're seeing Batman taking all these bullets to his body like the way he is, and he's not being hurt or anything like that.
You have to understand though, that's a futuristic suit. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to understand what that suit is made out of. If you understand what that suit is made out of, you won't have no problem with it.
William, the logo that's on your head right now, that being put onto the Batman suit was specifically so people would shoot that, because that would be the one area of his body that would be completely bulletproof. That specific logo.
I just think that and I heard that too, Jeff, and I just thought it was stupid. That suit's incredible.
Yeah, there's been some complaints, but I'll tell you what, just to kind of wrap things up, guys, it's been a great show. I really enjoyed hanging out with all of y'all. But just to wrap things up, I want to give everybody a chance to plug whatever they want to go ahead and plug. So I'll start with you, Debbie. Debbie, do you want to talk about MCU Mondays or anything with Geek News Now?
MCU Mondays, it's usually me, Chris, Dave, and Jeff has been on a couple times, and we've had other people on there. William's been on there. And we just like to talk about Marvel, much like you guys do here. We tend to go off the rails a little bit. Chris likes to rant. I'm the co-host, but I'm just there to throw out theories. That's my thing. I like to throw out theories. So, but we have a lot of fun, and if you guys ever get a chance, you or your audience get a chance to check us out, I think you'd have a lot of fun. It's always on Monday nights at 9:30 Eastern time.
Most definitely, and we are now members of Geek News Now. Cyber and I, and Perry, whenever he decides to come back, which I'm hoping will be next week, we might see another episode with Perry Ramsey and have the whole team together again. We'll have to see what happens. I'm not going to guarantee it, but we are with Geek News Now. And Vincent, I didn't have a chance to talk to you about this, I don't think, really, but we're with the work. We actually have joined up with William now, and we're under Geek News Now, and we're going to be having our content, flowing through
awesome.
Geek News Now. And I just want to take a moment off of what Debbie said and just say thank you to Damon and to David, and thank you to Chris for getting me into Geek News Now to begin with by bringing me on MCU Mondays and everything and letting me guest as many times as I have. And thank you to Debbie, who's been very helpful to me in terms of like my and our kind of joining of Geek News Now. But Vincent, do you have anything that you want to plug or anything like that, or anybody you want to shout out or anything like that?
Hi, if there's anybody watching me that happens to know me. If not, then that's fine too. I don't really have anything to plug. I'm not a social media personality at all, man. So I'm just here having fun with you guys.
Man, I told you. You got to
do want to
join
get into
Cyber
that.
on Rizzle, man. If you go on Rizzle and make an account and just go ahead and friend me in Cyber, follow me in Cyber, we'll go ahead and tag you on our MCU videos, and you can go ahead and become a part of the conversation.
Sounds good, man.
You know, you're good at talking MCU, man.
Thanks.
William, you want to go ahead and plug whatever you want to plug?
Real quick, guys, please join us for the Geek Gauntlet Podcast every Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/William Morgan Media. It will be on the GNA YouTube page. Thursday is when I upload that video. So if you can't catch the main show, you can definitely catch Geek News Now YouTube feed. Show will be there as well. Please follow along on our Facebook page, the Geek Gauntlet. Please follow along there. And that's about it. Jeff, thank you for having me on, bro.
Well, you're my brother, man. So you're welcome to be out here anytime you want, man. There's
Thank
always
you.
a spot for you.
Thank you.
Cyber, I know you've got a long list of accolades to talk about because Cyber is a veteran YouTuber and film critic, connoisseur. Go ahead. You want to plug anything, Cyber?
Well, of course, so yeah, just, like we mentioned before, there's the Rizzle that me and Jeff were on. You can find me under Cyberneticshark under there. They're little 1-minute videos, very similar to TikTok. A little bit more of a personal community than TikTok, so we have a lot more interactions with people on there. And we do, all kinds of stuff on there. I do movie reviews or mini movie reviews. I do all kinds of little videos and stuff like that, and plugging MCU news and all that kind of good stuff. So if you guys get a chance to check that out, Rizzle is a great app. Also, you can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. You can go to my YouTube channel, Cyberneticshark. It's all one word. You can find me there where I do my all kinds of different stuff too. I got a amazing little mini series called the Backyard Adventures you can check out. I got, I'm currently doing my James Bond-a-thon reviews for up to No Time to Die. So definitely check those out too if you guys get a chance. And it's, you can pretty much find me anywhere and we enjoy doing it. So definitely check us out.
Most definitely.
Fuck you, Steve from Bumble. Fuck you.
Yes. Steve, you should have subscribed to Cyber's YouTube channel, man. What the hell? Anyways, so William, thank you again for coming on.
You're welcome, man.
It was good to have you two weeks in a row, man. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, Vincent.
And Debi, first time coming on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. We really appreciate you.
No problem.
Man, she's everywhere, man. She's everywhere, man. She's everywhere.
You know,
there ain't no place you can't find Debi, man. She everywhere.
He's so enjoyable.
You love me, William.
Even out in the back alley.
All right. Well, listen.
Oh my goodness.
I just want to go ahead and just real quick. I'm not going to plug anything, but I'm just going to go ahead and mention that we really appreciate all of you that actually pick up the bulk of our views on these videos by watching these live streams after they actually are done being live. All of you that come in and watch us later and everything. We actually have some really nice analytics as far as like the type of average like watch time we get on these streams. When people watch these shows, they stick for like a good 45, 46, 47 minutes at a time. So, at that point, that's pretty solid, I think.
If you would share these with me, I will also share them on my stuff too.
Of course. No problem at all. As soon as this is done and I put a thumbnail on it and everything, and you know what I mean, and whatever editing I do is done, I'll go ahead and shoot you over a link in the Facebook group for Geek Gauntlet, so you have it and everything, and you can share it. And we listen, William, we can always you and I need to talk off air, man. You know what I'm saying? And try to kind of see what we can do to cross promote, because we could always like maybe swap trailers or something like that. You know what I mean?
That'll work.
On the podcast end or something, and
that'll work.
Do something to kind of spur a little bit of engagement with the audience. But no, we really appreciate everybody out there. We're almost at 100 subs on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much to everybody out there. I'll tell you right now, it is hard to grow a YouTube channel. It's not easy, and we do not take it for granted. Cyber and I really appreciate the fact that we're almost at 100 subs. When we get to 500 and 1,000, I'm going to be freaking ecstatic. I can tell you right now.
It took me 3 years to get to 1,000 on my YouTube channel.
There you go. See, that right there just tells you got to be patient. You got to persevere. You got to put the work in. And we appreciate very much every single subscriber that we have, and everybody, you know, who watches our videos. We genuinely really do love you and appreciate you. We love Marvel. We love the MCU. We love Marvel comic books. We're all about the MCU. And listen, peace out, everybody. MCU's Bleeding Edge, True Knowledge for William, Debbie, Vincent, Cybernetic Shark. We're out. Peace.